Okay, camera's back on.
Camera's on.
Roll them.
What are we missing? Oh,
The folians and eclairs.
Oh, dessert.
Cannolis. Cannolis. You made them?
I make it from scratch.
I'm coming over to visit you.
12:47. As soon as it's over. That doesn't scare me.
Okay, thanks, man. Come on. Dad. Dad.
I don't think there's anything poor about saving whatsoever.
That's okay.
But, say, say,
No one even pulled the door shut. That's what I did.
you like that.
Oh, you sick. Sadie, I got a voice again.
Sadie. Come on.
Don't listen to her.
Oh, that's it.
Sadie,
Yeah.
come.
She comes.
Yeah.
Better come. She's bored.
Ready?
We're ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready.
Nobody.
Ready on the right, cameras moving?
On the left.
Ready on the left.
Yep, ready.
Ready.
Fire you on.
We're only missing John. It's coming right back.
He flies through the village.
You left my car?
We're ready.
You left?
They'll be back. They'll be back.
John went to bring, Donald.
Where are we at? Sorry.
Joe,
We're on page 3 of
He
8,
went to open
starting with
went back to Yuko.
He went to give Donald lunch, bag of lunch, because he had to open it. Blame me, I suggest. Come on, all together.
I think that was very nice of you, Ruth.
I think so too.
Let's move right along.
Okay, ready to go. Okay. So we're back on page 3 of 8.
Yep.
We'll get to that in a minute, right. Line 50, tennis court maintenance. We only have a budget of $3,000 for the upcoming year, which is for miscellaneous supplies and repairs for nets and windscreens. We're over budget, $108,000 this year, which we've known this whole year because the Somerset courts, which we started in the last fiscal year, spilled over into this current fiscal year. Okay? John?
Camera's on.
Just an update on that.
Camera's on.
John, it's on.
On that, as we speak today, they finally got back into doing the repairs of the tennis courts. What I'm trying to work with them also, because we had a few $1,000s to do the repairs for the other 2 tennis courts. We just wanted to do some repairs, nothing. I'm trying to get them because of all this thing is to redo that, those tennis courts too. Okay, so just give me a little bit more time. We're trying to push to see if I can get them painted and sealed. Okay, taken care of with the other 2 courts, which we know that's somewhere in the $8,000 or $9,000 range, maybe more. Okay, we put $3,000 there just to fix the patching of holes. Remember, we didn't want to do anything last year's budget. Okay? So we'll time and we'll see what we can do to get them together.
Are we done? Are we done with all this nonsense of leaking water pipes?
Yes, we
Yes,
voted on it.
yes,
Huh?
yes.
We voted already.
That we did what?
We voted already.
Okay.
All right. Ready to move on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Line 51 is elevator maintenance. This is a contract with Oracle for $5,373. That's a 3% increase plus $1,300 for miscellaneous repairs, also for the lifts at Hastings. Next line item 52 is the janitorial contract. No increase for this new coming year. They got an increase this past year. $3,334,920. which includes obviously the main clubhouse, Hastings, the UCO building, the security houses, and the laundry facility.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to know, I see that it expires 10/31/20, their contract, is that right?
Yes.
Are we going to go out for bids? I'm not saying we're not going to
No.
use them. Are you going out for bids?
No, nobody's spoken.
No?
You're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job.
I didn't say that. I didn't say not to
You
use them.
What-
I just said to go out to see a difference comparison with price.
Yes. No.
But I don't care, it's up to the people here.
John?
They do an outstanding job. They're very friendly. They make no money at all, hardly, so.
Well, and I don't know how many other companies would offer UCO a free, because what are you paying for that? Nothing. It's a subcontract to our contract where they do UCO, the laundry, the.
No, we pay.
No, you don't. It's
Pay
a
a dollar.
subcontract, you pay $1 a host.
Yeah.
But what we do is, and I could verify this on the other side, so because we use them in the other two, I will get a second just to always, from this point on, just
All I'm
to
saying-
verify, we'll do that. When another contractor comes here for the air conditioning, we'll talk also too, okay, when we get the air conditioning.
Okay, line 53 is janitorial supplies. I left the budget the same. $18,000 is for trash can liners, hand soap, sanitizers, umbrella bags, and that type of thing.
Question.
Excuse me. Yes.
Has any change been, due to this COVID-19 thing, any change in the nature of the sanitizers and disinfectants? We had to-
Yes, definitely. Everything that we're using is, it's meant for, we don't have anything exactly for COVID, to remove COVID, but everything is for bacteria, disinfectants. We've increased that more. And also the repetition of that, stuff the cleaning has been increased, okay? I think, when we get to the air conditioning, I have some good news for you too, would include with the UV, but, and I know there was, they called me on a rumor or something with engineers disease, and I could just tell you, because the facility's been open, okay, the only concern I always have with the engineers on the air conditioning system, but on the drinking fountains, everything was turned on and run for 5 minutes. Those are small coils inside there, plus on the other facilities, and we do water testing anyhow. We depend here more on the city, the county, okay, for the water distribution, where in Boca, we have the county, plus we do our own water testing here. But I've also started something here because of this. I've started testing the water also here for ourselves. It's only a $250 cost just to do it on a couple spots to make sure, especially with all this is going on, it just makes people feel better, that we're checking it.
John?
Even though everybody thinks COVID's going away in February or March with
Who
the
said that?
vaccine, don't you think you ought to increase this so we can have sanitation stations all over the place for people
For
to
the
use
supplies.
for Perel?
Right, that's not a bad idea.
You know, I mean-
What we really have in this clubhouse,
Well,
sanitation.
I tried to order the
Probably hard to
free
get right.
stand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
forget it.
Sorry.
Can't even get it.
Yeah.
But honestly, what I think is best, and I'm gonna be asking, I'm gonna put one in here too for all the meetings, people just go to the wall and can dispense them in their hands. If that's what we would do, is go around and have these in different places. not so.
Just the CDC requirements for.
Yeah, but I think this should be increased because I think we're going to be using more, even though it's going away. I think it's a good idea to have it at different locations and more of it.
Yeah.
Because just like the mask might not never go away. I'm always going to keep one with me now. So I think and I always carry my own sanitation, but a lot of people don't. So I think that should be increased.
Well, then we want to get with Flo, and then we'll come back
Well,
to
I just wanted
you on this line.
to let you know that when we open up, there's a requirements that you're gonna have these things
Oh,
all over, okay? It's just gonna be so, we're gonna have to look at that, okay? Thank you for bringing that up, but I know for opening up, when we open up anything
I
bigger
carry my own
than what
things.
we're doing right now, every area has to have these
They're gonna make you do it.
Well,
It should.
we removed $22,000 from, what was that line? Okay, line one.
Pools. So,
From Exhibit B.
So we have $22,000 there to play with as far as, say,
No, we
turn
don't.
around and say,
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
increase that by, say, $5,000.
Well, by the time we get to our next meeting, we'll have an updated figure for you, tell you where it would all go, what the extra cost would be for you to approve at that time. We have to speak with Logo first. All right, Fausto.
With all these new chemicals that are coming in, I hope we have material safety data sheets on everything that's being
Yeah.
used in the building.
Everything, matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, the new insurance company, okay?
Yeah.
We have all these apps, okay, that we're utilizing. I have Cassie here. It's
Yeah.
actually taking every material safety data sheet that we receive for every chemical that we have. It's going into the computer, and they have it also with them, so that if anything ever happens, they're able to look it up just as fast as we can look it up.
You sent it to me.
As a
Yeah.
point of information, that's been the right to know law since 1981. Every chemical that's being used in a commercial building is supposed to have material safety data sheet.
Oh,
I'm gonna compliment,
That
and I
came
know
later.
Monica has heard this, but it's the first time that I've ever been using so much of the insurance companies' apps and materials that they have, because we're doing everything from job descriptions to even looking at contractors' certificates of insurances. Everything is going into that. I'll let you comment a little bit more on that.
Yeah, this is the system that Assured Partners told us about when we had the insurance meetings. And Cassie, Dan's assistant, has spent a tremendous amount of time. And Dan says it's the best system he's ever seen. That it sends you alarms when you have certificates of insurance that are expiring to remind you to go to the vendor or contractor to get updated insurance certificates. It has all types of training materials and checklists, and I mean, it's a fabulous tool, and Dan's been extremely impressed.
Because it's making us do it, you know, I mean, I now appointed to whatever it is, they have to now have that information, because I tell them it's for the insurance company, and ding, everybody's jumping on it, so it's great for even the job descriptions, because it gives more detail on what they can lift, whatever it is, you know, so if we have a workman's comp case, everything, it's an excellent program. It has so much bells and whistles, sort of like the maintenance connection. It tells you certain things. That's the same thing with this. It's really good.
Okay. Okay. Moving right along to line 54, air conditioner contract. This is the contract with Airco. We don't expect an increase this year. $19,200 for main clubhouse in Hastings. We've budgeted for 10 coil cleanings at $400 a piece, which is significantly down from what we budgeted this year. The annual maintenance for the contract for the cooling towers, which does have a 3% increase, $5,776. The ChemSearch contract for the cooling tower treatments with no increase, $9,907. And then the annual cleaning of the condenser for the main clubhouse, $2,725. A total of $41,608, which is about $9,000 less than what we had budgeted this year. Any questions? Okay. Line 53, air conditioning, maintenance and repair, non-contract. We have an Exhibit C here. And before we turn there, just wanted to mention that this year I'm expecting us to be over budget around $17,000, primarily due to the unexpected chiller repairs that we had of $14,000, and also the installation of the UV lighting for the coils, about $6,000 due to COVID this year. And Dan wants to talk to you more about that as we go through this line. So if we can turn to Exhibit C, it's the second. Next to last page, yes. Okay, line item 1 is a big number, biggest number in this budget. $603,000. which is phase 1 of the HVAC upgrade for the party room and the second floor party rooms. If you'll recall, we had this very in-depth evaluation back in 2018. And the original cost of this phase 1 was $361,000 and change. That estimate was updated this past May. It had increased $90,000 over the last 2 years. A lot of that had to do, I think, with what's going on between the trade embargoes and everything with China, and it's restricting materials and increased the cost of materials that are involved in the air conditioning upgrades. This number also includes a 15% contingency to be on the safe side of $67,000, as well as the engineering, design, and construction documents for this entire phase estimated at $83,000. Before we jump into this, I did want to tell you that, you don't have to flip back there, but on page 1, I assumed when I prepared this that if this were being approved in this year's budget, that the funds would be used from reserve monies to cover this cost. So as far as the budget is concerned, it's a wash. You wouldn't have to do that, that's your choice, but the bottom line is there's no effect on the monthly coupon because we have, at the end of June, we had $1.9 million sitting in the contingency and infrastructure reserve, and that number, that amount grows around $52,000 a month. So that was my assumption, but obviously it's up to you to do what you want to do here. Yes, John?
I think it's part of the going to be part of the Millennium Agreement about permanent assets and cost to the company or cost to us. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, Barbara?
This is considered an upgrade, am I correct?
Yes.
Maintenance and repair. I mean, it's
Well,
a,
it says upgrade. It's not that there's something broken that has to be repaired, or is it an upgrade?
it's basically broken because we know we've been having all kinds of complaints and humidity problems in the building.
Well, you mean because it has to be upgraded so we make it work more efficiently? Is that
Yes.
what you're telling me?
To make it work efficiently and safely, yes.
And safety.
It's an
What
improvement.
would be the safety factor involved?
The humidity levels,
Humidity.
It's an improvement. Am I not right?
Yeah.
it will definitely improve
Yes.
the
It
quality of
definitely
air
is,
that you're
yes.
receiving.
Right.
Yes. I just want to mention here that the 83, what was it,
83,510.
83,510. I believe that for your benefit, we need to basically move forward with this so that you can get an actual price, because you're not going to know, okay, this is a guesstimated price from an engineer, okay? You're not going to know until you get the engineering design done to know exactly what a contractor giving you a price, to know exactly what they're going to entail, okay? Because like I was explaining to others on board, it's basically, there's the mechanical who is giving you a price here, but you don't know if there's any electrical in the way, okay? So when they engineer this and design it, they'll go out there and then they'll look at the facility, and then they can come back and give you an actual price. But you definitely need to move forward with at least the engineering cost of this.
Dan, the opening words on phase 1,
Yes.
this implies that there's a phase
Three.
Four phases.
Four
Four
phases.
phases.
Four phases.
Jesus.
So this is overall going to cost over $2 million.
Yes. The original estimate for the 4 phases was, I believe, $2.4 million.
Right. But that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that was.
I assume we're replacing something.
Well,
Everything.
well, remember, over the years and the explanation that we've been given here, and this has been going on for years, the understanding that when the construction was done here during the hurricane renovations, that it was not done properly. Okay, so we know that we have a problem, and existing. We tried to shift and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay? Not getting to the point where we decided then to get an engineer to do an analysis 2 years ago, now that, to come back and given these quotes and for the 4 phases, which came up to $2.2 million for redoing the clubhouse. AC,
When's the last time we had an engineering study on the air conditioning?
just 2 years ago,
Two years ago. 2 years ago.
2018.
And we're gonna pay $83,000 for another engineer?
No, this is for construction plan. What you did is analyze, they came in, they gave an evaluation, okay, did a study, all right, and then basically gave you a report, okay, of cost analysis of each phase, as we broke it down into 4 phases.
Right.
So that we could be able to afford
Right.
this.
If my memory fails, have we seen this report?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It's
Yes.
about this big,
It's a
okay?
binder.
I know
Right.
that if you could ask any of this has been out, and that's how it works out there. You have to do the study, the evaluation, and because of all the problems that we have, then they do the engineering drawings, which cost, okay? You have the electrical, the mechanical, everybody get together to make this happen, so that we could then put it out for bid.
And I'm looking all business.
Yes, Ed.
Well, regardless if we take it out of the reserve or if we put it in the current budget, it's money spent. And I'm bringing up the same argument that was brought up before. You don't have to take everything out to replace it. This meets the criteria of the capital improvement, and the capital improvement, we should be paying 100%. And it's in black and white in 4 different places. I'm not saying we don't need it, but I think that we're only responsible, if I'm not mistaken, for 1/3 as a capital improvement. So this is only one of the phases. When we had the last discussion with Mark, it's always been, I've broached it 2 or 3 times, it wasn't moved on, but I'm bringing it to the floor again. I'm not saying, I'm repeating myself, I'm not saying we don't need it. It's money spent, no matter where it comes from, but I think we are only responsible for 1/3.
So the
So
question,
I could make a motion right now.
Can I say one thing? I just want to respond to this the same way I've responded to Myron Solomon for the last 10 years.
Well, Myron's not me.
No, I know, but I just want to, and you weren't in those meetings or anything, and you're not going to agree with me, and I
I
understand
didn't
that.
agree
And
when you said it to
I
Myron.
understand why, because, you and I are accountants, and we all know what a capital improvement is, and we know what the definition of that is. And the term capital improvement is not a defined term in the Millennium Agreement. But what it did refer to when that terminology was used in the Millennium Agreement, it was referring to the specific capital improvements that the Levies agreed to do as part of the negotiation for the Millennium Agreement, which was repositioning the theater chairs, renovating the Hastings Clubhouse, the purchasing of all the equipment in the Hastings Clubhouse, the work on the dam, and those items were specifically the capital improvements that agreement was referring to under that term.
Unfortunately, it's not clearly stated. What was intended is not clearly stated, nor is the definition of the capital improvement.
I agree.
So, my opinion is, we're coming to a new millennium agreement, and that's one of the items we're going to insist on, and specifically name certain assets besides a definition of capital improvement. So at this point, as far as I'm concerned, there's 2 options. Don't accept it, wait for the new millennium agreement, or have an agreement to, we only pay 1/3.
well, so now what we're asking though, if you're gonna nix the job for now, that we are able to move forward with getting the construction
I can't hear
documents.
you.
So if we're not gonna do the work, we're not gonna approve the work, then what we need are the construction documents so you can send it out and get prices, and you'll know exactly what kind of money you're gonna be talking about to move forward with phase 1.
Okay, but basically, if we don't approve it, it doesn't happen, right? No matter what your intention is. And if we do approve it, you're gonna move forward. So I assume that when you say you're gonna reassess this, you're gonna have to do it in either case. So at this moment in time, quite frankly, my most comfortable position would be to turn the whole thing down. As a mediated position, I probably would support us paying 1/3. And that's what I would propose, and I could make a motion to that effect.
And you can't make a motion that's gonna contravene the agreement, even though the agreement is ambiguous.
Yeah, you can't.
I think what you're
disagree with you,
attempting,
I really
what you're
do.
saying is, hopefully, the new Millennium
No, we can't say that.
Amendment will be changed in such a way that cost ratios will be shifted.
No.
And the definitions of capital improvement will be changed. That's what you're hoping for.
Well, then the only thing to do is turn it down and wait for the new Millennium Agreement.
Make a motion.
Make a motion then.
I make a motion that we turn this item down at this time and review it as we go forward.
But we still
But
don't
not
know
to
the cost.
approve it for this budget.
You don't
Let it
know.
go forward with just this phase.
That's what moving forward with the construction documents would give you.
I can't hear
I
you.
know that.
That's what moving forward with the construction
Yeah, I know.
documents would give you the ability then to get actual prices.
I can't hear it.
No.
You gotta
I'm
get it
sorry,
in.
I'm having problems.
Is this part of this budget?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
What
and
she's
I guess
asking
it's
is,
did you say that you provided for it, but taking it out of our reserve? Is that correct?
yes.
I make a motion, we don't accept it.
That's it.
Can I just say something too, again, for everybody's benefit here too? I think everybody should read the study that was done, okay? All right, because in that study, all right, it showed air conditioning units, okay, for maintenance and replacement, because it's just wear and tear. Okay, so, again, look at these things, okay, and make your decision by reading that, and I don't think a lot of you have because you're new, but I think that you need to review that and understand what maintenance items, and the majority of that is maintenance items when it comes to those air conditioning and replacements. I'm just bringing it up on the study, but you have to do the study.
When you do anything like this, it's because of maintenance. If it didn't need it, it would have stood up. Okay, so no matter how you call it, it's a capital improvement. You don't have to rip everything out and put a new one in.
Yes, you do.
Do.
That
You know, I
you
would
do.
like-
Again,
Well,
I
I'll
can't
tell you, you're
fight
all
these
welcome
things,
to
so
come
I
up
can't.
to my conference room, we'll show you the units up there. See what kind of shape they're in, and how old did you say those are?
Those are at least 18 years, 20.
All right, let's not go spinning off too far. You made a motion.
Correct.
Do we have a second?
No.
No one seconds the motion?
All right, so this is gonna fail for lack of a second. I will attempt to pull this study up for anyone. So I don't know why I don't remember. How long
Oh,
ago
yeah.
was it? But if we got it, it's in the database, I'll pull it up.
If you don't have it, Dave, I can scan it to you. I've got it in
2
my
years ago.
office.
Okay.
It was 2
Let
years
me
ago.
know.
We have a second for the motion?
No.
No.
No, it dies for lack of a second.
Fausto?
I'm the one that requested that we have a study, because we were getting nickel and dime to death on building repair with air conditioning. And I said, why should we be spending all this money, not knowing that the system, from what we hear, this is not compatible, this is not compatible. So that study was brought because we suggested it, that we do it. We spent around $20,000, if I remember correctly,
Yeah, it was-
maybe a little more, somewhere in there. And because we didn't act on it when we got it, we've got a 25 to 30% price increase, just in a period of 2 years. Now, the system that we have in the wall, I know that we don't all agree, but is absolutely archaic and does not work. That's why we've had thermostats and this air handlers and moved around. It does not work. The system that we have has to be ripped out And the new system has to be engineered where the air conditioning and the airflow and supplies is equally balanced throughout all the rooms. Am I correct?
That's what the study
That's what
says.
we need to do. The study says that it needs to be done. Now we need somebody to design the system. That's what that $80,000 is in there for. We need somebody with a pencil and paper, come in, measure, and tell us what to do. If we wait another year or 2 years for the Millennium Agreement, we're not gonna be looking at $600,000. You're gonna be looking at millions of dollars. That's all I gotta say.
I'm gonna second that motion.
Which one?
It's,
Ed's motion. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I think it should be in the right. So I'm gonna second his motion.
I just want to speak to what Fausto said. 2 years ago, we got a study, he's right. And now we have $83,000, 510 to do engineering, design, construction. Am I correct?
Yep.
Now, I can see spending that 83.5 out of the reserves to do that study, but that's all. And then let's find out what they say we need, find out the cost, and then we'll see what happens when we negotiate stuff. Let's be fair about it. That's all I'm saying. Let's be fair. First of all, when he says about fixing this place, Dan, you know, it was done wrong, ductwork, everything else. Now, if we have to go this way, phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, will that involve taking out all the ductwork and everything?
Absolutely,
So,
yes.
no,
Yeah.
wait, let me finish. So then, that is really a big improvement. We're looking at 4 phases. That's a lot of money, okay? I say, spend the $83,005 for the report, and then let's go from there. That's all I would approve.
It
that
will give you a
83.
good idea in the basis of the other 3 phases too, you know? I'm not saying that this is, I think that this one is one of the largest phases.
It
It
is.
is.
The way of it going
He
through,
said it's the
so,
first one.
so it gives you a good idea, you know, that's all I can say.
Yes,
It's
I
not gonna give you
agree
an
with you.
accurate money wise, but it will give you an idea of what we find of the cost, if it's close to this cost that they're saying, you know, or they're predicting.
You have a motion on the floor, and I'm sorry, because that should be handled.
Well,
That's right.
Margaret,
Motion and a second on the
It's
floor.
discussion,
the
discussion.
motion
And
is
then
seconded.
we can look at bringing back.
I'll bring a motion after his is taken care
I
of.
could amend the motion.
You'll modify it?
I could modify it. I
And
think
you
it's a good-
modify it that it be, we pay 83.5 for that report?
Right.
Okay, out of the reserves, that 83.
Do we have
Okay,
to
he's
take it out of
modifying
the
it.
reserves?
Yes.
We don't have any budget, we don't have any.
Guys,
We don't have any.
you're really gonna confuse the record.
Okay, then do
here.
it the way you want.
Let's clean up this
Okay,
motion on
okay.
removal of the item.
All right.
And
let's do it.
then, if it's desirable, I think it is, you'll bring back the engineering
Okay,
study.
okay.
The last engineering study I remember is of the electrical panel.
This is a complete study he's doing.
That was many.
This is
Yeah.
complete.
All right, we'll find it. If we've got it, we'll find it. All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I thought
The motion is very simple, to completely remove the item.
I thought Ed withdrew that in favor of Barbara's motion.
Can't withdraw it.
You
no,
gotta
let's do
ask
this
him.
first.
Now, they gotta get rid of the first motion.
Let's get rid of the first one.
Yes.
Right? And then we can take the modification up. Right?
That's correct.
I'm gonna read exactly how this is gonna go. All right. Motion's on the floor to turn down item 1, exhibit B, phase 1, HVAC upgrade. Basically, it's the whole thing that you wrote here, all right? And at the end, totaling $602,622. All right? So, that whole little blurb that they have there
Right, the whole line item.
is, just to keep it clear, all right? Barbara Cornish,
No.
Bruce Reese,
I don't understand.
Yes means to remove it,
And no means not to.
but if we vote yes and remove it, then you can make your motion.
No, I don't wanna vote yes. I'm saying no.
No, you
Then
said.
this will stay in,
yes
and you
means,
can't make your
yes,
motion.
yes means
Somebody,
that you're turning it down.
Yes
Right.
means you're turning it down?
Yes.
Then I'm saying yes, I wanna turn it
Okay,
down.
now you said
Oh,
no.
Jesus.
Okay, you got that clear.
Motion is to remove the line.
Yes,
Ruth Reese,
yes.
John Gregg?
Hold on,
That's incorrect.
that's wrong.
That's incorrect.
What's incorrect about it?
Point of
You're
order.
wrong.
The motion, you say yes. If you're voting against the motion, you say no.
Thank you.
You have a point
You
of
didn't even
order.
address that point, David.
Yes, you did.
Yes, he
You
did.
said that the motion is to reject the line item.
And I'm saying, read that motion, please, Bob.
To turn down item 1, Exhibit B, Phase 1 HVAC upgrade for party room and second floor card room, blah, 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 all the way down to totaling $602,000.
Right.
Now, if I say no, it means I am what?
Leaving it in.
Leaving
If
it
you say
in?
no, you're leaving it.
Okay, so I'm saying no for now.
You say yes. You say yes.
You want to leave it in?
No, I'm saying no.
You want to leave it in?
I'm saying leave it in for now. We're gonna have
Okay.
another motion later.
No, but we can't.
You have to
if we
take
leave
it out
in.
first.
You have to take it out?
We can't leave it in and then say we're gonna take part of it.
Why not?
Oh,
You could amend the motion. Point of
The
order.
whole thing.
Fausto has,
Oh, I'm so
Fausto.
confused.
I have a point of order. The gentleman can amend his motion to remove
Thank you,
everything
Fausto.
but the $83,000. That
That's
would
it.
need one vote instead of
One
two.
vote, that's
And
it.
it would be very simple.
Right.
Thank you,
On the
Fausto.
floor.
Let's go for that.
Now we have a second.
Well, if he
Are we all
rescinds his
set?
motion and he makes
Are
a
we
new
all set?
motion,
Okay, it's gonna amend.
He amended it.
I was going to.
If we're all set, I amended to, you have to really, instead of the 600 and some odd thousand, 83,000 just for the,
83,510.
for the,
Right,
the
that's it.
study.
For the study.
one motion, very simple.
That's easy.
Second, I second it.
You have a second, you have
The
to
study we already had, construction documents.
Unless he rescinds his motion.
So if you say yes, that gets out, and the 83 goes in?
The motion then is in essence remove all components except the engineering.
Correct.
Right. Good.
Oh, my God.
That's the motion.
Call them construction documents, because we've already had the engineering
Fine.
study.
Construction document.
Construction documents.
Here's what it says.
No, we're gonna remove the HVAC replacement and leave in, the money for the construction documents totaling $83,510.
Because you need the study.
Now, if you vote yes, that's what
Yeah,
happens.
right.
Yeah. I would leave in engineering design.
No,
That's
no,
what we
let's
did.
not do that. Please.
There's a motion on the floor.
Of it.
There's a motion on the floor and it was seconded.
We got the full amount of
So
money,
we-
so.
to leave in if it says
Who
construction
seconded
only.
its
I seconded
modification?
it.
Joyce.
Thank you. Your second is superfluous.
Discussion, this is for discussion.
No.
Yes.
Yes, you're right, discussion, yes, he has
All right.
discussion.
If we say construction documents and only, then we have left out the first part of that sentence, engineering design.
Would you
I
put
got
in?
it, I got it
I
in here.
think we should put in exactly as it says here, engineering design and construction documents.
Wait,
I got it in here.
Excuse me.
I don't think that's what Barbara's calling for.
No,
She's
but
calling
all, you
for a
have the
study.
amount. Don't you have the amount there,
That's
Bob?
it, the amount.
Okay,
Yeah.
look,
That's all that
this is
matters.
the way it's gonna read, all right? Motion, reference, Exhibit B, line 1, WPRF 2021 budget. Remove all components of line 1 except engineering, design, and construction documents.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Yay.
Which is that.
See,
Cost, yeah.
no,
Just one
I got
minute.
B.
No,
It's B
on
on mine.
the
It's
document
B.
it says
B.
B, but
B.
it's actually
B.
C. Monica will correct
Yeah,
that.
that's
my mistake, yes.
It should
And
be
it
B
says
and
C.
C at the bottom.
B.
Hold on. Ed,
I think
It's C in
the
exhibit.
wording, we're not getting to what I think the intent, engineering design is not a study.
We have the study.
Listen,
Well, you have the study, but is your study for everything?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
yes.
Yes, yes.
So why would we leave the design?
Instruction
documents.
He has what's here, exactly the wording, right, Bob?
Yes.
And you have the amount.
Yes.
That's all you
Yes,
have
put
to
that
have.
Okay,
Come on.
move ahead.
And who was the one second?
I did,
Oh, my
10 minutes ago.
I know. Are we ready for?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna read it one more time. All right, motion made by Ed Grossman, reference Exhibit C, line 1, WPRF 20 to 21 budget, remove all components of line 1 except engineering, design, and construction documents for $83,510.
Correct.
But now I'm gonna call the question, so we can't have any more discussion.
Yeah, let's call the vote, please.
Okay,
Good, thank you.
holy smokes. Let's start with Barbara Cornish,
Yes.
Ruth Trees,
No matter what you said, I'm voting for 83,510.
Yes, yes.
that's a yes. John Gray,
Yes.
Richard Handelsman,
Affirmative.
Joyce Reese,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes. Finally,
Patricia,
yes.
David Israel,
Yes.
Ed Grossman,
Yes.
Dominic Carnacci,
Yes.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Fausto Favreau,
Yes.
David Boaz,
Since we're not following Robert's rules, I will also vote yes.
Oh, don't start, please, David.
you follow my rules?
We're not gonna go any further.
Oh, don't, let's finish the
I say
vote.
yes, it's unanimous.
Next.
Moving right along.
Okay. Next is general repair and maintenance for the main clubhouse in Hastings, $30,000, that's based on historical. Line 3 is air handler replacement as needed, $15,000. Line 4, change the oil in chiller number 1, estimated at $8,500 plus the 15% contingency. $9,775.
Please.
Just so everybody knows, we just did the replacement of one of them already, the oil change. The only time that we actually have to do this, okay, is not a given time. We do it by an oil sample that's taken all the time. When the oil sample goes bad, is when we do an internal and an external. And it's a lot of work in taking those chillers apart to do that. Okay?
That's this beluga whale oil?
But anyhow, they're very, very expensive pieces of equipment. You got to keep going on them. I think one is already, what would we have, 12 years? The first chiller I think we bought about 12 years ago.
It was before I got here, and I'm
Yeah.
here 9.
Yeah, so. And then the other one we bought when you got here, so that's 3 years later. So.
Okay, the last item under this exhibit is to install UV lighting in the theater, $8,000.
It's the only, I'm slowly gonna do, I'm just doing the party room, I think we already had in there. I gotta look at that to verify. So the only reason I didn't do the theater is we weren't using it or anything, but for next year, we're prepared to probably have it in there, when we open up.
This is view group, what does that mean?
What?
First of all, UV lighting, if you're serious, what are you serious?
No, it's
It'll
a
kill
different,
your eyes.
it's two
You're gonna
different types of.
dry
No, no, no.
Those are with the AC.
Tell them, please.
Just,
Oh,
just to let you know, the news that I was telling you about the UVs, I had
in the ducts?
I had testing, and it's in the unit itself where the coils, where the air blows through.
Fair.
So, I did a testing inside there, and basically the unit that actually had the UV was excellent compared to the unit that didn't have it, and that's only in a
Absolutely.
3-month period, okay?
Yes.
That you see it in the same age, they were 19 years old, so that it's just showing you that it is killing the bacteria inside there, and that's what's helping us also, that we don't spend, instead of every year that I was actually cleaning the coils, I'm going every other year cleaning the
That's right.
coils, okay? So that's again a savings on that point, that we were doing it every year, $400 on 32 units that we have inside here. So the more that we put the UVs in also, we can keep the UVs. If we do change them out, we bring them and put them on the other system, so we're not losing out on this, okay? whatever you're putting into it, we're gonna definitely put it in the newer systems that we put back into.
You're definitely getting your money's worth in your safety and your health, no
Yes.
matter how you look at it.
Yes.
We spoke about this before.
Yes.
And we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to move on? Okay, back to page 3. Page 3 of 8, the very bottom line, on 56, air conditioning controls. This is a contract with a company called BAS, $15,600, no increase. We've not had an increase in years in that contract, plus about $1,000 for any non-covered expenses incurred, $16,600. Yeah, Dan can explain to you, for those of you that may not know what this is.
I just, again, it's the control system for which would be utilized in the control system, which would the architectural design, okay, on this. But I wanted to let you know, I might be looking into making some changes into that cost savings for us in the future, because one, we're having a hard time always getting insurance for this particular contract. It is a Siemens product, but today, because of the technology, it wasn't where before, if you made a change out on a control system, that you would spend gigantic money. I'm looking into that, where it'd be no cost to us money to the point where they come in for service. And plus, the control system would be a lot more advanced, okay, so that we could be able to troubleshoot it a lot quicker. And not saying that these guys are have been doing the job, but we've always been pounding. You know, like everybody else, you got to pound to make sure you're getting what you're getting paid for. The other one that I wanted to let you know, I didn't discuss it a little bit, is the air conditioning contract. And probably we have a 30-day out clause. Okay, so but I am going to look into actually putting it out for bid. I'm having some situations that I've encountered, and I'm going to start here. Now, what I'm looking for is, and some of you that are new, you have to understand, I have the chillers, okay, which has the contractor that actually did the renovation on those chillers that are working on that, because it's a specific type of knowledge that you have to have compared to your regular normal air conditioning guy, okay? You have to have chiller people that are certified for doing that kind of work, and we want them to be coming back in a 30-day period, less than a 24-hour period to do a repair for us. And some of these contractors do not have these kind of mechanics if they have one. Usually the union guys here are the ones that are having those kind of people. So I'm going to get a price with the a union and a non-union for the whole thing, so you don't see everything split. We have right now, we have the filter change out and the cleaning of oil is done by one contractor, and then the other maintenance is done by the chiller. I think I explained that today, okay? I'm going to try to combine that, and I'm also going to try to get the controls to see if we can save some money, and then we're just dealing with one person, but I have to make a change because of these two contractors. I don't think, they've been doing their due diligence right there. Okay?
Okay. Next item is page 4 of 8, top of the page. I don't know how long you guys want to be here today. Do we want to try to get through at least the maintenance and repair section and then break till the next meeting? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not soon.
Okay. Line 57, pest control. This is a boatload of contractual stuff, primarily with Orkin, also with Marty's Bugs. It's for dry wood and subterranean termites for the main clubhouse, for the Hastings, for the pools, interior, exterior. A lot of moving pieces and parts in this, as well as the $1,500 for miscellaneous pest control for beehives, iguanas, ducks, etc., and $2,200 for the midges at the shoreline. So $16,682. It's a few $1,000 less than it was this year. Barbara?
I have a question, since I live on the lake. The midges, we've been doing this all along, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you, I could take pictures from 3 years ago, last year, and this year, and it has not changed the midges. I I can show you on the back porch of my sliders. They all come on the back porch there.
Okay.
And I have to do is take a blower and blow them off.
So my question to you is, since you're taking the water out of the lakes where they're born and rise, and you're using it for irrigation, you also have to tell your landscaper that they need to be treating for midge flies in the grass. We're doing the shoreline, but each building along the water also has to have.
Lots of love.
Well,
We pay extra for ours. We just, with the Hewitt, we paid
put up a
extra.
sign and say, come here.
Free lunch and the city.
Yes, they should be spraying, everyone should be spraying their grass
Yeah,
as
they
well.
should.
It's sort of like a little bit seasonal too, so you gotta look at it and spray it at that time period.
Hey, I'm not changing it, I'm just making a comment.
Got it.
We don't have any sense, nothing.
You're not on the lake.
Some of them.
Some of it,
He
yeah.
doesn't deal with termites.
It doesn't. he
He's not
does-
termites, he's pest control.
Right.
Nobody's a mess.
Wellington has one
Yeah.
else.
That's a specialized pest.
Special.
No, specialized pest.
What is the next?
Marine, John.
Ready to move on?
Yeah?
Okay, line 58, this is general maintenance and repairs. Exhibit D, which is gonna be your very last page. And by the way, we're estimating we're coming under budget this year, $48,000.
Are we on 58?
We are on line 58, but we're
Last
moving
page.
to exhibit, it actually says C at the bottom, I apologize, it should be D. Yes, Fausto?
Under this line, I would like that we consider painting the fence at the Dorchester pool this year. Since we have $120,000 in basically historical maintenance, that fence has been, we have been promising Dorchester for 5 years that that fence would be replaced. And I spoke to Dan, and I think we could get a roller or something and paint that fence and make it look other than something that belongs in the scrap iron.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Is the galvanizing coating intact? Because if you paint over
Rust.
a rusting and decaying
It's
fence,
gonna peel.
you're gonna gain nothing. It's gonna
It'll
come
peel.
right through.
Do you want to put this in the budget? That we replace the fence versus
No.
paint it? I mean, you requested it from us.
Well, what's the condition of
It's
the
coming
fence?
up, so I don't know what you want us to do.
The fence is rusty, should be replaced, was under budget for the last 4 years to be replaced, but we've always found other places to put that money. Since we don't want to, we want to try to maintain the budget at a normal level, let's get another year out of it by, it's not going to cost $10,000 or $20,000 to paint the fence. Let's spend the $1,500, $2,000, put a guy with a paintbrush, and let him paint the fence so that it looks other than rusty.
Yes, Norm.
I happen to look at this fence every day. My unit faces the fence.
I'll meet you out there. We'll look at, we'll get,
I will
we'll,
paint it with Fausto.
we'll work it out.
For a very nominal.
We'll make it work for a year.
small
We'll
fee.
make it work. We'll make it work.
It won't be hard to, just to make it look nice.
This is general science. I'm telling you, you try to paint over rust, it's simply not gonna work.
Well, so Liam.
Now, you want
You
to,
get a year out of it.
yeah, well, of course you will. You get
It
a
looks
year.
bad, and then I promise to put it on the next budget for you to consider.
Can you put something to come on?
I'm just saying, it's a line item already, include that, just put a fence on that wall. And I think it would be a wonderful thing if all the people in this committee volunteer to put the paint, to paint the fence. We
You
each take a
volunteer,
second.
not me, I don't
Be the
think.
first one out there.
I don't think that is. My days are real
I
bad.
hire.
I think we'll get this resolved. We got a lot, you know,
I think-
we'll make it work for this year. Dave, we'll make it work for this year and we'll put it in. We'll put it in. I promise you we'll make it look good, okay?
Thank you, Dan.
Great.
Ruth?
They can put it in.
Rude.
Doesn't anybody care what I want to say?
Take your mask down, Ruth.
What's the difference between painting and replacing that fence?
Thousands of dollars.
How much?
We
Thousands of
had,
dollars.
we had
Thousands.
25,000 on the budget for the replacement of the Dorchester. It may have gone up 5,000. We did a few years. Painting is gonna be a lot less.
Does it pay to replace it and get it over with because it'll last?
Again, if you don't want it to affect the bottom line of the budget, you can certainly take it out of reserves. It's again, something you would have to decide.
You don't wanna
Or
see
you
it.
can just get a gallon of paint.
Exactly.
Guys,
No
we're
roll.
trying to, just remember,
All right.
like you said, we're trying to get to do a systematic way of doing things, okay? Instead of just jumping on something, because I know there's a lot of other places that we could, and somebody would want this and somebody would want, you're the board members, okay? There's other pools that are out there, and that's, I try to treat it as equal, and I guarantee you, we'll get to everything as systematically as we can and financially, you know, so, let's just, like I said, it's a big cost, and we can get that out of the way to look good for 1 year at least, okay?
So what are we putting in additional?
We're not, it'll turn into regular maintenance.
They got $120,000. We can buy lots of paint.
Yeah.
But you're doing it, so it'd be cheaper.
Barbara and
Barbara and
John.
John.
I recall you saying before, when we all approved Southampton, we're gonna take one pool place at a time and fix it completely.
Yes.
Not do this, and that.
Yes, and that,
Okay, that's
I guarantee
all.
you, it'll be definitely beneficial to you.
No, it was something that
It'll be
we
beneficial.
requested, and
Yeah,
I
I didn't
agree,
move
I
fast.
agree with Dan. It just keeps coming up. This is like the third time it's come up during this meeting, so I'm just trying to give you, you know, whatever it is you want us to do, just direct us. We'll do it. We're gonna paint to make it look good for the next year, and I will put it back on the budget, and we'll make Dorchester the next pool area so that we can keep to Dan's plan, where we do everything that we need to do there, and that will include the fence replacement.
John.
Let's continue.
Are we off the pools yet?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I want to speak after we're off the pools.
Go ahead.
Okay, after John, then we've got Ed.
Okay.
And then,
158 says, all agreements for the waterways, yada, yada, yada. Is there
Wait,
any?
wait,
We're not on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I said, are we off?
No.
No, we still have other items on this
Okay.
exhibit first. David?
I've been at the Dorchester pool many times. Fence is structurally sound.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with having rust removed, having a rust inhibitor put on it, and having it painted. That could last for 5 years. We have to realize, are we here to make form and functionality, or are we here to dress up?
Both.
If you can afford to do it, that's fine.
okay, now we have Ed. Are you done, David?
Yes.
Ed.
Is David referring to the fence that Fausto once painted, is that it?
Yes.
So, if it's structurally sound, why don't we, instead of just painting it, clean it down and put on what we used to call red years ago, but something as a rust and paint the fence
Use that anymore.
black or whatever, and it'll continue to be okay, and you don't have to do it.
And we'll definitely, listen, this is a really minor thing, I think, we'll
Minor,
take care of this
right.
thing.
Taken care
I
of.
will make sure that fence looks good, not a problem, okay, let's
Let's
keep moving
continue,
on.
please.
The fence is taken
Okay.
care of, I'll meet you out there with the paper.
Thank you.
Okay. Line 2, pressure cleaning and painting of the Hastings clubhouse exterior, including a $7,000 contingency, $45,000.
Wow.
There was a group of us that visited the Hastings clubhouse back in June, I think it was, Dan.
Yes.
And
When?
I think the group that
Well-
went would be in agreement that,
Well, remember, there's a 7,000 on top of that. I think we got the prices somewhere in the neighborhood of 30-something thousand, okay, to do that. There's a lot of crack and sealing, and we had a specification which will, when we put it out for bid again, okay, guys, we'll put it out for bid and we'll show you we'll show you the, RFP for that, okay, because, it's, very documented on all the areas that we have problems with on that outside.
So it's
And we
going
wanna
out for
make-
bid.
We wanna make the outside of the building, we just did the roof, we wanna make sure the outside of the building is intact. And remember, I still have, which I didn't, put in here, and guys, we had, gutters on the outside of it, okay? So I think I'll have this with her in the next meeting. And we also wanted to go where the standpipes, the ones that we walked through, we had the standpipes that came in, where to wash away. We had to put in some kind of a drainage areas, okay? Which that will be a few $1,000s also, okay? But I will have that to her. I apologize, but I did get a, price for the gutters, and I think it was $8,270 to do the whole thing over there. And that's, also Don's recommendation on, you know, widening it a little bit
Yeah.
because the water was overflowing on the gutters that were inside there, okay? But I'll have that, this together for the next time we meet. I apologize not having it there, and it makes a lot of trouble for her too, so.
Any further discussion on Hastings?
No.
Okay. Next line item is the installation of a fuel tank. Located at Hastings, we already have a concrete pad in place. This will be to house the fuel for the golf carts and the one WPRF truck, as well as fencing that would be needed around the area, $6,332.
Monica, if we put some kind of a fuel tank there of any kind, wouldn't that not be, increasing or have something to do with our insurance, liability?
They would have to be informed. We have fuel tanks in the other two communities. It's disclosed to them, and it's never been an issue.
What do you
What
want, gasoline or propane?
It's gasoline, just to let you know why,
Gasoline.
we're doing this. One, it's, cheaper for us to buy it in a boat than to go out there with these containers. We have a lot of these now vehicles, okay? And, our guy is going out there. Now, we're actually losing another truck, okay? So that's one less, but we're gonna be asking for another gator. But for us to go out there and fill up all these fuel tanks, you know, and bring them back, it's actually safer and cheaper per gallon if I buy it in a boat. Plus, during a hurricane, we have the accessibility of being first served, okay, on that. That's why the other communities do it too.
How big is your tank?
250 gallons.
What size?
250
Just
gallons.
Get in here.
I didn't, we on the other, communities, they're bigger because we got more vehicles. They're
We got
500,
multiple tanks,
and we have diesel, but, you know, and again, it's during a hurricane, we, go ahead.
Where exactly is that pad at?
It's, if you go in the back, if you're looking at Hastings in the front to the right-hand side, where we have all the pumps and all the controls on that side, right in there, there's a drive-through with a concrete pad already put in place. We were talking about this years ago, and, you know, we were looking at what the liabilities were, Barbara, to answer your question. So we mentioned it to the insurance companies, and we seem safe. It's like a lease, because the company that we purchase it from, the only thing we have to purchase is the pump and install the electric, which has to be explosion-proof products that we put onto it, and we're done. You know?
How many
It's not
carts
near
do
any
we?
No, it's in the far side, it's on where the,
On the other side of the
yeah.
Hastings?
Yes.
Should be a problem.
How many carts do we have and trucks?
We have one, now we have one truck, and we have, how many golf carts?
6 or 7.
Six or seven.
How many carts?
Six or seven.
6 or 7.
We're probably gonna have one more because we just lost the truck, we just sold the truck.
We just sold the truck to the one employee, that's always had a truck, the supervisor for pools, Jay Crawford. It was in an accident, and rather than, repair the truck, we just decided to sell it, and he's gonna have to start using a, golf cart.
And you remember years ago, we wanted to slowly eliminate, we should have only one truck for emergencies. When a hurricane comes, we should have the ability to be able to get products, or, you know, with a bigger truck to go to Home Depot or something like that when we need it. The rest are all golf carts.
And just might be a minor thing, but can we secure this thing to prevent,
Yes.
unit owners from mooching fuel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a locked, like all the other communities, but basically later on, it's gonna be in a fenced-in area, plus the electric will be shut off from inside, you won't be able to, the pumping the system.
Fair enough.
Plus, we have a way of, anytime anybody uses that, if we have a system already, we know who uses it, how much gallons is being used. And then it's good for you to know the documentation. Right now, I have these gallons that we fill, and we don't know if these guys can use it or not use it. So it's actually safer for us doing it the way we're doing it, for us, and beneficial for you and the price.
Okay, so last line item here is the engineering to construct a seriously deficient lift station at the back of the clubhouse.
In the back of the court.
Dan, you'll have to tell them where this.
Yeah, what is that about?
This
This is a
station.
sewer lift
Okay,
station.
yes, I'm actually gonna say the same thing I think I discussed. I never knew that we actually had a lift station back here because I thought it was only a lift station for the new bathrooms that are located in between the guest and the resident pool. So when I found out when they were having problems with this, I went out there and I looked at the pump. It's not, it's in a hole, okay, where the 4-inch line comes in from the clubhouse, which is the clubhouse sewage goes there, plus the sewage from the, from those two bathrooms go there, and then it pumps that into the closest manhole, which is probably about 50 and 60 feet away, to then continue to keep going on. The problem that we're having, one, it doesn't meet any kind of requirements there to be able to tell us when this thing is clogged, and then it overflows, so that's why everything's so green over there, you know? But it's a very healthy area, and I thought it was unhealthy for our guys to be going out there and squashing through this to get to where they gotta get to. And so I need to get it at least engineered, to see what it will take to put a real good system in there, a pumping system that will actually break up the, right now when any kind of big debris gets into it, the pump is not right, it gets clogged. I hate to talk about dirty stuff, but this is dirty stuff. And so this cost will be the engineering for this. And to just design something for us there to alleviate and give us alarms when it actually overflows. Because what happens is, we don't know, it gets piled up out there because it keeps on running. And the time that the guards will let us know, and then by that time it's way too late, you know?
And we have these lift stations all over the village. Isn't Lumpfish Control a county function?
Well, that's something that I could also, every Century Village that I've handed over a lift station, the problem is that this lift station doesn't meet any kind of requirement. You know, I mean, it doesn't meet any kind of code.
No code, not
That-
really.
if they wouldn't even come over and try to take it over, but if we could get it halfway there, maybe we could talk to the county and have them take it over, because we've done that in Boca,
That's a
we've done
good
that in
idea.
Deerfield. But honestly, I never knew, I thought that pump was only for that, the bathrooms, and I didn't realize it was for the clubhouse in itself.
There's no chance that they would come in and build it.
Well, I could look into this too before we even go into that. I'll look into that, but right now with the county, there's a lot of things we're trying to maneuver with these canals and stuff like that, so,
And our friend Hodge Mary, as you know, retired, so
no longer there.
my
Yeah.
son is gone. Left in Mayor.
But I think that I could get this price down a little bit for the engineering portion and get back, but if that's the case, at least we get an idea to go with, to the county and see if we can work something out, you know? Because, again, I honestly, been here a long time, I never knew that was out there. So I saw, and had them print out the work orders that they were getting, and when I went out there to take a look at it, I just, it was not healthy for our people working in that kind of, that mess. And then not healthy for the environment around the pools there, too, you know?
Ready to move forward? Okay, back to page 4 of 8, we're almost to the end here, guys. This is waterway maintenance. This is multiple contracts with Solitude Lake Management.
No,
Sorry, line 59. Any questions?
Yes.
Oh, John, yes.
Over at Dorchester and, what's that other one? I
All the
keep,
way, well, all the way down.
yeah, from Dorchester all the way down. Is there any plans in the future to dredge them and make them bigger,
Yeah.
so that it doesn't stink?
That's the North Canal we're talking
Yeah,
about, right?
North
Yeah,
Canal.
where Hastings is going across from Hastings, yes, definitely. We are working on something, okay, I can't give
Because
you,
those two canals, on a good day, are right.
yeah.
Not counting the dead animals that I've had to go over and pull out for these people.
We've been working on this since the spring and kind of got hijacked with COVID, but
Yeah, I understand.
I will share with you that we did have a study a couple of years ago, as you all know, about the cleanup of that North Canal.
Yeah.
The estimated cost was $1 million.
Right.
Okay? So our legal team has been investigating this, and it is their belief, although we have to prove it, that that canal is owned by Palm Beach County Water Utilities.
Yeah, I believe it.
When Century Village Utilities was sold to Palm Beach County Water Utilities, it's our belief that that canal should have been or was part of that sale. So now it's our job to convince the county that they do own it and to convince them to maintain it.
Right.
I thought, Monica and Dan, I thought we had had extensive discussion on really upgrading the drainage there using a large pipe.
Well, this is where I actually brought in the legal team when we were finding out that we couldn't even pull a permit or anything when we found out that the property was owned by somebody else. So
It's been an
In
evolving
sections.
story.
I mean, there's always been an issue of which side you're on, and
Yeah.
who owns what, I know.
Well, there's a lot to that too. Actually, where that fence line is, there's an easement, side part, even on the opposite side of that. So there's 15 feet of easement. You own 15 feet past that fence, and they own 15. And that's why there's a clear path all the way. Where it gets questionable is all the way where they put. We don't understand how we actually went across, okay, and built Century Village on the other side of that, because it still shows easement all through that. So they're looking into it. It's going to take. We were going pretty good until this came up. So we are finalizing something with the water department right now. That was a big project, and now that it's over with, okay, actually this month we're going to see if we can hold a meeting with them and keep moving forward with us. Okay, so it's a good. So far we knock on something, and hopefully we can work something out in the cleanup of that section up through there. I wanted to bring up something else too. It was the area where Seacrest Canal was. Okay, there was a section there that was not basically on the Harding program. So I was called up by Donald Foster, and I think he was in that same refugee. So I called up our representative, perhaps now, and said, "How can you stop there and leave that overgrowth there?" Of course, knowing that it was, they were complaining, some of the residents of refugee. So they did it for no charge and cleaned that back up there where then Seacrest put a new fence and they're going to be putting up bushes up there, which I basically told them that it was okay to harden in the ground there. But then we get a complaint from the refugee, one person, calling everywhere. And of course I'm getting back, with FP&L telling me what's going on. So I let them know, listen, we're never going to make everybody happy, but we will try to work this out with the bushes giving time to grow so that the overgrowth goes up. But it was beneficial. But there's a lot of debris inside the canal, which we're looking at right now and getting prices to see if we can clean that up. That was another thing that they brought up to the city manager. They brought up to whatever it is up there to the county, and everybody got involved. Whoever they hit on. Whoever they called made everybody jump. Okay, so we're trying to get prices on that for that little area of the canal to clean up too. So if it gets brought up, we're working on that area to get prices back to you to see what we can do.
Yeah, and she's been emailing me, and I didn't realize when I got the bill from Seacrest this morning, that something that you generated.
I didn't see a bill because
Okay, well, I'll
I
send
didn't
it over.
generate. I didn't give. The only thing that they were supposed to do is actually put up a.
They did put up a fence.
Yes.
So I've been working with her. I went yesterday and took pictures of the North Canal because what they're looking at is what the North Canal looked like a year ago. And I sent them to her to let her know that within a year, this is what the canal is going to look like. And within 3, the bushes and everything are going to be taller than any one of us, and it's going to hide everything that it needs to hide. She just has to give it a little bit of time.
Yeah, because if anything, we got a bill from. I was told that
Seacrest
Seacrest
sent
was
it.
going to be responsible for it. So I don't know what it is.
$950, and they
what?
sent it to me to clean up after FPL.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was a proposal. Okay, because they were only supposed to be proposal. So we're set.
All right. I'll send it. You didn't receive it. I'll send it to you. Okay.
Oh, my God.
All right, any further discussion?
Bob
on
has
this?
a question.
I'm sorry.
As far as the aerators and stuff, do you guys intend on installing any more anywhere?
I think at this point, because of the reports that that we're getting, the the water is actually very, compared to what we first
What it
started,
was.
we're doing very well. Unless there's an area that you feel, I haven't heard anything of that area so far, but the quality of the water has definitely improved since the area.
I was thinking down,
Speak up, Bob.
you were just talking about Bedford, behind Bedford Cave, that's where I
Yeah.
live.
Bedford Cave.
And that area there,
It's hard, if it's in the canal in itself, okay, I can only do the big body of water, you know? The aerators are not gonna work on a shallow area, you know? But
I'm talking between Bedford Cave and Oakland, whatever that is, on the other side.
oh, okay, where the canal,
Yeah.
where they split onto,
Yeah,
let me
actually, right where they all,
merge in. I'll look at the plan of what we have, I'll look at to see where it's at. I've never, we put them in strategic areas to really hit the big bodies of water. And this is where we've gotten great reports so far of the quality of the water compared to what it was. We never got that green algae like we did, years ago. Remember, we had a blooming algae inside there. So,
We used to get a report from you guys from, used to be Vertex, I think.
now it's,
I don't know what you call it now.
Now Solitude Lake Management.
Yeah,
we get the report.
we haven't seen a report in a long time, so.
I will, find out.
Because I know we've gotten the report, I've seen it, so I
Okay.
thought it was always been sent to you, so.
Well, I do, I
Yeah,
normally forward
yeah.
when I get it, but I think you're right, I don't think the last one we saw was maybe November of last year.
Yeah.
I've seen one earlier, so I remember seeing something.
I didn't get that one, I didn't see it, so, all right.
But it's still the quality of the water, but I'll look at that area, let me look at the map, and we'll keep an eye on, all I look is the quality in all these big bodies of water, because everything springs into that.
You're gonna have trouble establishing ownership. I looked at that years ago. There's this whole trail, Wakey Utilities, and it's impossible to figure out.
And it's the attorney's gonna have to do what they're gonna do at this point, because if we wanted to even do anything in there, we couldn't, because we couldn't even put permits for it, so. Okay.
All right, any further discussion on waterway maintenance?
Move along.
Okay. Line 60 is road maintenance. It's only a budget of $3,000 for miscellaneous repairs, either on roads or the parking lot. We're coming in under budget $21,000 this year because we did do the work on the theater road, expanding the theater road back to the clubhouse that we budgeted. Line 61 uniforms, we don't have a uniform contract any longer, so this would just be shirts that we would be purchasing for the maintenance staff. Line 62, shoreline expenses, we budgeted $10,000 this year for miscellaneous repairs to the geotube on the shoreline, or any other ongoing evaluation of the North Canal or anything like that. We've not spent any money, and I've only put $2,000 for next year. Last line item, 63, Hastings repairs and maintenance. We're asking for $5,000. The majority of that is a maintenance contract with 2 preventative maintenance visits a year, service calls as requested, and we get 20% off the parts. That's for the equipment at Hastings is $3,960. And the other's miscellaneous repairs. So that's the end of the maintenance and repair section, which is the largest section in the budget, so
Are we gonna go another, some more?
that's up to you guys.
I say we break till next time.
You want a break?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, no,
I'm ready for an hour.
No, I'm saying let's stop for today and do it again next week.
Well, here's my next question. Do we want to go ahead and schedule a second budget meeting? Or
Yes.
do we want to meet or use the ops meeting on the 29th for a second budget meeting? That's entirely up to you.
I say,
Well, so if we use the ops
Yeah, I
meeting,
just
we
gonna
will
say.
not be able to finalize the budget because we still have more to go over. So if we do a second meeting in between this one and the ops, we could use the ops to finalize. So
Right.
that's, before you make a
How about
decision,
next
think
Friday?
about that.
how about
Friday
next,
is never
same time, same station, next Friday?
Next Friday?
What day is it?
That's that's Rosh Hashanah,
Hashanah.
that's a bad
Can't do
day.
that.
Rosh Hashanah begins at sundown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
do that.
Dan can't do it that day.
Well,
Mike
wait,
can't do it.
I'm sure.
How about Monday the 21st?
Sounds good to me.
Is Monday a bad day?
No, Monday's okay for me.
Monday.
Monday's the
I
21st.
gotta look at
Monday the 21st.
Monday the 21st at 10?
Sounds good.
Same time, same place.
No, actually, we don't have anything on Tuesday.
That day?
What day did they say?
21st. Just got that right. 21st.
A week from a week from next Monday.
Right.
Monday's a busy day.
Monday's good.
We can also do the 22nd.
Well, you're not gonna get a date for everybody.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
gonna say the
Barbara.
I
office is
said,
busy.
everybody has something, a different date.
I sent you the proposal.
Monday, September
What do you got on
21st,
Tuesday?
10 8.
Tuesday the 22nd.
Tuesday would be good.
Tuesday works for me.
Tuesday the
Okay.
22nd.
Tuesday the 22nd, we don't have anything.
That's better,
Okay.
okay. Okay. Dan and Eva, can you do Tuesday the
Well, that's
22nd?
gonna be better because I'm just told I'm gonna keep out of my office again.
Yeah.
So,
22nd, yeah.
What time do you
Okay,
wanna start?
The
10
10
o'clock?
10.
10 o'clock.
22nd?
Yes, ma'am.
Tuesday the 22nd, 10 a.m.